What's up guys, it's Sab and we're back with another commentary video here, this time looking at a 19 Algeth'ar Academy. This was actually my very first attempt on this key, sending my own non-resil, and spoiler alert, we did get it. Got some good timings here, and actually you're gonna see me make a critical mistake that I'm going to talk about. And now I've got a new system after analyzing it, but let's just jump right in here. So we'll skip ahead to the, I like to grab the verse buff in the 19 just because it's like 3% verse is the most raw stat. And even if it's not the highest damage simming thing here, the extra 1.5% damage reduction goes a long way. Now, something I've cooked up with that I want to try the next time on an Algeth'ar. You'll see here that what I do is I wait for everything to get together, and you see me play some fire starter here, and I've lusted, I've potted, and here at about 20 seconds into the pull is where I'm combusting, is kind of everything's been gathered up. I think depending on how quickly your group kills this, it might be better to combust even earlier, maybe before the pull has really gotten together. And I will show you I will talk about the reason why in a bit. But you'll see that we only got 3 skitterflies, right? And the pull's dying, and we're gonna get the other skitterflies, and we're kind of at this point out of damage, right? The cooldowns are expanded. Maybe the Devourer DH here is going to continue to pump some damage, but the Demo Lock is kind of on the same timers as me. Now, if I would have combusted earlier, and it comes up around here, then that's still a good, at this point, 5 targets, 4 targets, to where you can crank and kind of just like crush these mobs down. And let's look at that, because that was like 29, 25-ish on the timer here. As long as the Germinate cast starts around 28, 25, then it would have been fine. So let's see. So right now we're basically just we've held this combustion, and we're still holding it, and we're still holding it. And we're still holding it, and now we're going to switch to the boss, and we're going to play Firestarter, right? And if we had followed that planned timing, right, we would be able to combust again right here. So we would have been up +1 combustions. Maybe the 2 combustions would not individually have been as much damage as the single combust that we waited for the pull to get together on, but also, this is something I started doing recently. Delaying this combustion till after the cast is going to be more damage to the ad on this boss, because your combustion will still be going when the ad spawns. However, I think it's bad, and I don't think you should do this, because what it ends up doing is, because I'm flame striking into all these lashers, there's 15 something targets in this, it might be 20. The flame strike damage gets split up quite significantly, and you end up doing like very little, like you lose a lot of boss damage as a result. I think what I'm gonna try the next time I do this, and I don't recommend doing this without some testing because I haven't really had the chance to do another high Algeth'ar since this one, is starting the combustion on the Germinate cast, or maybe even a little earlier, like here, and pyroing, even while the lashers are spawning, just continuing to pyro, right? Just building up as big of an ignite as possible, so that here, instead of flame striking, right, and just we're doing 30k, sure, we're killing the lashers nice and fast, but we're sacrificing boss damage, and we're making a smaller ignite to spread to the branch. So like, we're padding on the lashers, but it's not really that ethical. we could probably do significantly more boss dam, and maybe just after the combustion ends and we're in hypothermia, that's when you just throw a couple throwaway flame strikes to just try to help kill off any lashers that are left. But yeah, so, but this is theory. This is theory. I think if you do what I did here, at least it's killing off the lashers somewhat quickly. So some thoughts there on how to gain an extra combustion before you want to send it on the boss, and maybe better timing, right? Because then you'd be combusting once again around here, or at the start of that germinate cast, or even earlier, and your combustion would just now be finishing here to spread ignite to the branch. You do see I try to like snipe the meteor there onto the ad just to help kill it. But we get like by the time the burnout pops, all the lashers are dead, right? So we've lost a lot of our snap damage there, and it could have been a lot more boss dam. Nice rob from the tank, although a bit we killed it a bit late, so unlucky. You're gonna want to have like you can mass invis these sets if you're worried about aggro. Pretty straightforward there. And obviously you do want to be flame striking at this point. Yeah, I'm checking like why my damage is so fucking bad mid pull here. Big move to get across the stuff on the ground, but not panicking. And because the time between these germinates is less than like a minute, if you do the first one late, kind of like I did, then you're just going to be kind of delayed every time, and it's just going to get worse and worse. You can also dwarf this bleed early instead of like just dwarf on CD. I did that on the first one, just that, you know, your healer doesn't have to worry about healing you. You know, you can just do your thing. Once the boss gets under 30%, you know, you can just scorch. And I definitely, I'm flame striking here just because the boss still has like 6 mil, and you know, you can see the tanks taking a lot of damage here, so you still want this stuff to die. Yeah, my combustion is just getting later and later here, so I would advise sending that first one earlier, like we talked about, but we get through it here and it's all good. A little bit slow on this. You usually want to be kind of on this mini boss with, you know, having your pot come up a little bit before this. But yeah, this guy, pretty straightforward. There's no reason not to send your pot here, by the way, because if you really don't, if you delay it at all for any of the bird packs or whatever, you won't have it for the burn on Crawth. So just like use it, right? Don't hold it. This is there's not much to talk about here, right? Just don't get hit by the tornadoes and stay outside the circle and just hit the boss, right? Now, for this, you can cool down the first and third and still have your combustion back for the start of the boss, which is exactly what you want to do. So I would not play Firestarter here because this pull is pretty short. I would just rip the combustion. You see me feather here because I want to have feather for the start of Crawth so that I get it back for the burn on Crawth, which is about 2 minutes after, or maybe a little longer, but it's going to be the third combustion of the fight. So you're going to want to be able to feather the first combustion of Crawth and then the third combustion of Crawth, where you have the amp and the lust. And now here we're just going to play Firestarter on the Eagle, and then we're going to Flame Strike until enough of the little guys die to where we should just be killing the Eagle again. Again, you lose very little single target to Flame Strike, so there's not really a reason not to Flame Strike at 6 targets like this. As soon as it's down to 4, you should start pyroing again. And I could be scorch flame striking off of the Eagles, but I'm not for some reason. And here, you know, that was the last flame strike we pressed, and we're just pyroing. If your group kills it a little slower and you get your combustion back, you can think about sending it just to crush this one Eagle and then getting it late into the next pull. If that will gain you a combustion use, it's probably worth it. On this one, we are going to play Firestarter until the bird starts to get kind of low, and then we're just going to go into our combustion. Altering one of the screeches here so that we can top off before the other screech. You can see on the 19 it does quite a bit of damage. That was a bad scorch. I should have not scorched there. And I switched to pyro. I should have probably switched to pyroing. Well, as soon as if it's 4 targets with 2 prio targets that need to die, it's worth it still to flame strike in that scenario, as you're going to get more damage to those 2. So I don't have alter this time, so you see me. I didn't need to lock rock, but I might as well lock rock, as we're going to drop combat between this pack and the boss, so I'll be able to lock rock again after that. And you could even send a little lit. That's kind of the idea with saying that you could potentially send another combustion late on that middle pack if it's dying slow, and then send another combustion even later on this double eagle pack, because you can see how long we're sitting on this with all the RP. And not just that, but you still want to play some Firestarter on this boss. So you know, we're looking at maybe 25-30 seconds of just waiting for the boss to come down here. And I like to play 10 seconds of Firestarter when I'm with a pug like this, where I don't know how quickly we're going to kill to get through the first 25%, because you really want to have your combustion up for the haste orbs that spawn. So if you kill this way too quickly, and you don't get your CD back up for the haste thing that drops, it kind of screws all of it. So I don't like delaying that first combustion too long unless I really have a good feel on like how quickly the group gets through the boss. So better to err on the side of caution and send the combustion well before you hit that 90% mark, or else you might find yourself at 75 with no combustion, and then even worse at 45 with no combustion. And you can alternate your barrier and your alter for these, and I use another lock rock there because I saw myself ticking down. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hold, right? I think I've got, yeah, so I get the heat shimmer, and then at this point we're just going to fireball. We're not going to send this hot streak because we want to be able to press it. Wow, we almost wiped there actually. We want to get the haste buff and instantly send this. So, and just a little tip is that you see me do this a bit late here, but just move a little bit closer to the boss because you have all this extra haste. It is very possible to clip casts. Let's get close, and we get a pretty good burn here actually. I think I remember in the session going like, oh wow, we're actually kind of crushing the boss, which it kind of sucks. So the burn on this boss lasts 12 seconds while it has the damage amp, right? Which is not your full combustion. And the way that ignite and burnout work is that it's just the ignite is set off of the base damage of what your stuff is doing. So if there's, you know, an amp on the boss that makes it take double damage, it's just going to mean that like the ignite that's supposed to tick for 1,000 does 2,000 until the amp is gone, right? It doesn't like not because your stuff is doing more damage doesn't mean that the ignite stays amped after the debuff goes away. So as a result, because that's the way that it works, you actually want to combust and lust and pot before the amp begins. Your goal is to actually have your combustion end before the amp expires, so that the bulk of the damage that you do in combustion is in the back half, because your ignite is now ramped up, and that burnout pop at the end, like that's the biggest single instance of damage in your combustion is toward the end of it. And so you want to get this going. And I sent I should have sent like right here. I should have sent like right here. So like me going a bit late here actually ends up hurting me. And because now this is going to end before my combustion ends, right? And so right? So the amp ends. Very unfortunate. And then my combustion ends here, and that, 371k burnout pop could have been amped, but because it was a bit delayed, I probably lost a pretty good portion of damage there. Still decent in the burn. You see me jump up quite a bit here. The 1 minute CDs are pretty good for this boss. You pretty much have your stuff for every big instance. You might be holding for a little bit if your group is slow, but that's fine. And then if your group does not crush the boss that's this fast, do not feel bad sending another combustion. If you need to send another combustion to help kill this boss, you absolutely can, because you have to jump again, gather the ravager pack. So there's quite a bit of in between on this boss. So in this case, it's dead in a mill, not needed. But if it had 2-3 million, I would have 100% just sent that combustion, killed the boss. And we can see we killed it 57-ish on the timer. Let's count exactly how long it is before we actually would be wanting to send combustion again, where a ravager here has dropped below 90%. So it's been 30 seconds already, and we're gathering this together, and the ravager's still 98. I could have shimmered there to maybe get some casts on the way, but I wanted to make sure I was so here is where you would want to have combustion, and so I would have been, you would have been 10 seconds out, and delaying your combustion 10 seconds on this pack wouldn't impact your speed or damage on this, as it would still be and actually maybe would have slightly delayed combustion would have just gained me a feather potentially. And obviously on any higher keys, your tank should be being the furthest person from the ravager to bait the rift breath. So here you see me switching to the mana fiends just so I can keep just scorch flame striking or scorch IB flame strikes. Tank's doing a good job. We're just making sure we're staying underneath the ravager mob. We're licking his toes just to make sure we don't ever get these, because that dot cranks, as you will see in a second. So ambushes on the tank. He rolls early. All right, boars, great. This guy played great, by the way. This was an oopsie, but all right. I should have pressed ice cold instantly on this. I did not. Why should you press ice cold here? The healer, who is supposed to be healing one person taking that damage, this is now a party-wide mechanic. We managed to clip all 5 people, all right? They are not going to be able to keep me up through this. And even though I really want ice cold for Vexamus, I should have just pressed it. I don't. I lock rock instead, and it just wasn't quite enough, and I proc my cot, and I almost still die anyway. It would have been better to commit the ice cold and save the cot than to hold on to the ice cold and keep the cot like this, because ice cold is way more valuable than cauterize is. Or excuse me, cauterize is much more valuable than ice cold is, especially because the ice cold would still probably come up by the time we're playing Vexamus. It would have been 2 minutes, 2:30 at like 15. So we'll see if I have ice cold if we start Vexamus by like 12:30. Vexamus is a very scary boss for you, and you want to have cauterize for it. So okay, so we are just delaying a bit. I think I was paying attention to like my kick and stuff. There's a surge on me, so I DB it. Get an AoE CC here. I've got DB just because I was using it in a Nexus point. There you just see that at the I'm watching this debuff, and I barrier right at the end of the expiration of that. I don't have any stops for that monotonous lecture, so there's not too much I can do. Good rob from the tank. in any of these pulls, you're just doing your best to just, you know, flame strike everything down. Yeah, it took DB for Nexus Point and never bothered to switch off it. So we have DB. Supernova's better, but Druid gets it, but does a nice little meld here, as you should. If you ever get targeted by this Rift Breath, just know that you can drop it with Invis. If you just Invis during the cast, it will prevent the jump from going off and save you from getting hit from the debuff, which is quite good. Don't quite have pot for this, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. It actually may have been better to delay combustion for this pot here, just because the pot timing, I think it still ends up being okay. I think I still have it for the triple or the quad that we do. Okay, but we're flame striking, and yeah, the Ravager is just very alive here, which is quite unfortunate. I'm trying to kill off the battle axe, because killing the battle axe is what, like, killing this pack is what spawns the boss. So we do want to like kill that boss off. Now this ends up slowing down the timer that we still have to kill this Ravager. However, this is quite good for me on a living thing. Vexamus is very scary with these foragers, because if you get jumped to while you have Mana Bomb out, it's pretty fucking lethal. And if you get jumped to with Mana Bomb right before a Fissure, you're pretty much dead. And yes, we would have gotten Ice Cold back by the time we pulled the boss, so whoops. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is we are trying to rotate our stuff, and we're playing a little bit. We do Firestarter for a bit, but what I am doing here is combusting pretty quick, because I want to help kill these foragers. And you're gonna see me whenever these are going out, whenever these Mana Bomb casts are going out, I am making sure that I am watching to see if I get it, so that boom, I'm altering instantly. You need to be at 100% HP, okay? You need this altar to beat the first tick, because this hurts. All right, we're gonna move off our altar a little bit. Now in this case, I saw myself going kind of low. I went down to boom, boom, boom. So 100, because I was at 50. So I took the altar to get myself back to 100% so that the expiration of the Mana Bomb would not kill me. All right, and it took me to 30%. All right, it hurts. Mana Bomb hurts. You need to be full HP for it. So fortunately, the foragers are dead, and that means I can't get comboed, which means as long as I play this good, I'm okay. Now I don't have altar for this. Now this is before a Fissure, which is always pretty lethal. I do not, where did I use barrier actually? Did I barrier this one? Oh, I barriered that. That's not a good barrier. This is not a good barrier. I should not have barriered. I would want to barrier at the very end. I guess I knew the Fissure was coming, and I ice cold the Mana Bomb into Fissure pop here, which keeps you very safe, but you only pretty much get one of those per fight. Healer goes down. I'm not sure to what. Not important. And we're gonna have altar for this next one again. So you see I'm kind of positioning where I want to drop the Mana Bomb. If I get it, I do. So altar instantly. And that time I was still at, so you need to be watching your health during this. And I was still at 62% with the heal about to hit me when the Mana Bomb was expiring, right? So here, I feel safe to go down to 8% health and then alter back to full. You don't have to do that. I could have altered to full before just to be very safe, because like the getting back to 100% HP is way more important for this set where you're about to get the Fissure after this goes off. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to barrier that final hit, right? So right as this is about to expire, we barrier, right? And that eats most of the pop. We only lose like 6% health there. And that's going to give our healer 2 or 3 globals to top us back off, which they do. And remember, we procced our cot, so we can't screw up here. So I did health pot in there as well. Why did I health pot this? Let's see. I guess I just got worried about this fissure. Yeah, I mean, that does do 70% of my health. You know, I don't recall why I health potted this. It might have been that the whole party was looking a little sussy, but all right. So we've got altar again, so we're positioning for if we get this. We don't, which is very tight. We would have been in a very bad spot, actually, I think, if we got both of these, because we kind of are running out of big buttons. And once again, just trying to drop these in good places. Don't get that one either. And that means you're free to barrier the fissure, right? Like that's what that means, is we don't need to save the fissure because or save the barrier because we didn't get any of the mana bombs, so we can just rip that. We know we'll have altar time for the next mana bomb that we get on the set immediately after the fissure. Tank's picking up orbs. You know, you're still looking for them. They don't hurt too much. And I don't know what is, I mean, I guess it's just mana bombs cranking people, right? So I end up getting 2 of these just because like I have both for this mana bomb fissure combo if I get this. So once again, feeling pretty safe. That altar was a bit late, so kind of bad. But the healer kind of keeps me. So let's watch this again. I altar not at 100%, which is why I barrier. Maybe a little late there, but then alter to full and basically take, you know, no damage from this fissure, which is good. And that should be the last one that we get. Maybe a couple mana bombs. But yeah, boss goes down, we're good. We're running into this next pack. Oh yeah, I remember I screwed up my kick on this. I remember I screwed up my kick. So let's get baited by the heat shimmer there. I don't know why. I thought I had one of the ones that was casting, but someone presses AoE CC there. Someone presses AoE CC there. Like I'm waiting to DB to see if it goes off, and it does. And like the team owns, and I'm able to now get my kick on that one. So whoopsie by me. Okay, this goes down. We do this little gate skip here. If your group does not have an Aug or a Warlock or a Rogue, you can take Mass Invis here, and just your group can run up the stairs. I think it's less time than this takes. It would have been better, but the group said you don't need to take Mass Invis, so I was like, all right, you know, you can just drop Decurse for it. It's whatever. Okay, so this is quadruple Echo Knights and a single caster. This is a Lust pull. This is probably the most single dangerous pull in the dungeon. And the tank, first of all, does a very good job of staggering these out. If the tank does not do this, you should be careful. I did this wrong. I will explain why in a moment. So he hits the Echo Knight for a bit, and this is good because it means that this Echo Knight is going to cast their smash well before the other ones. But what I should have done is I alter this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds before the next smash goes off. You don't need to alter that. It's like the Paladin pulls in Priory. If you played any of the last 2 seasons, you don't necessarily need to hit a defensive if there's going to be a lot of time between the smash that you just got and the next smash, right? So I should not have altered this. I should have probably altered or saved it for later. But what I do well here is right before this smash goes off, I press Ice Cold. Okay, So the most you're going to be able to get in a pull like this is covering 2 smashes with your Ice Cold. And you can see I just barely, because I delayed pressing it on the first smash, the Ice Cold catches the end of the first one or gets the second one there as well. And we're doing our best to just stay out of these. And now we're out of stuff. And so this Echo Knight needs to die, right? We should have marked one. But you can see the healer does a great job of topping us back off there. And I'm like kind of, I should have gotten in the darkness as well. Yeah. But the healer topped us off insta there. And now I've kind of got my stuff back up so I can alter. I'm able to. Do I get the altar off on this one? Yes, I believe so. Yeah. And that one, because I'm full HP and there's no other ones coming, like it's not going to kill me. Now, this was the first time I've seen this particular tech, so I screw this up a little bit. The tank paras that Invoker and grabs the other one. And I know that we need both for count, and I thought that that was maybe a mistake. So I like Flame Strike and start running. If you see a tank do that, or not Flame Strike, Fire Blast, what the tank has just done is delay the other ad running in by a minute while the CC pops out, so you can kick and kill the first one. This almost fucks us. This is a serious mistake by me, not understanding what the tank was going for here. Fortunately, my Ignite drops off, the tank reparas, and we're back to doing this boss as planned. Obviously, you should be trying to get kicks whenever you can. This boss is better, is going to feel a lot safer if every single time you go to 2 stacks of the debuff that you play somewhere where if you were about to get hit with an arcane missiles, you will drop the purple puddle in a good place. So you don't want to be ahead of the boss whenever you have 2 stacks. You want to play in like fringe areas, or if you can, and as a mage, you can kind of get away with this stuff as being a, you know, kind of mobile shimmer enjoyer. You can go try to drop your circles in good places, right? Because at any point you could get hit with an unreactable arcane missile. And if you get that arcane missile, you're spawning shit on the ground like the DH just did, right? So I'm gonna, because there's already this one over here, it is ethical for me to try to play in this area and drop my stuff on this side. Unfortunately, the Warlock is not on the same page, and the Warlock spawns their circle on the other side. So now we've placed one here and one ahead of us on the other side, which just means that we're gonna have it coming from all directions. Now that pull is what despawns the 2 original ones, and you do at this point want to have everybody kind of playing together. Because I still have 2, I should not be here. If I would have gotten hit by that missiles, I would have spawned a bad one, but you see me right now reacting to that and trying to like move into a better place to drop. And when I get this bomb, I know that it's guaranteed. The healer dispels someone else. I alter. I'm sitting on Dwarf. I might as well just get this off me, right? So Dwarf it, alter the damage, spawn the thing. And it would be better if we were not also spawning them way on the other side of the room as well. All right, because now we're just compressing the space that we're able to play in over on this side of the room. What you want to do is spawn them in a circle, and it'll be free because they're only ever like coming from the left or the right, depending on how you orbit around the room. DH spawns there, so I'm going to move past it. But now we're spawning these ahead of us, right? And you're going to see it kind of becomes hell. I see that the other guy gets dispelled, so I press Ice Cold. And now we're kind of in this. Now what I'm trying to do here, and I get very much bailed out there, is I'm at 2 stacks, so I was once again trying to play in an area where if I spawned one, it would be okay. But also it's so messy here that it's tough to really be optimal when it's like you're kind of fighting for your life. Druid gets clipped. At this point, I thought we were screwed. I thought that extra 15 seconds was going to be enough to to throw it, but you know, you keep doing your best here. And I could be doing a better job of doing damage. Can still get 2 combustions, right? So trying to rip this one right away. We're gonna have pot for the next one. And I spawn a decent one there, I would say. And here we're just doing our thing. We're scorching, we're pyroing, we're trying to do the sub 30 damage. Get pulled into that, quick blink out, going to kind of the only safe space we got over in this corner, because we're just spawning them everywhere. And important thing to note, if the timer is getting low like this, your pot lasts 30 seconds. I press the pot at 30 because either we kill it in 30 seconds or we lose. So, right, we want to get as much overlap with the combustion as we can, but we want to get the full value for the pot, right? So we might as well potion there, combust right away. And I was like dooming here, but we just barely get the big damage at the very end, time it with 5 seconds left. Yeah, so that's Algeth'ar. I think of all the commentary videos we have left, I believe it might just be Skyreach that's left. I'll have to double check. Might be one more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, we're one away from Brazil 19s as of now. I'm still just hunting for a 19 Magister's Terrace, but we're getting there. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody being so supportive. Hashtag #BoFire, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.